Hello everyone, it is Hachiri, and we are back in FTB Interactions. Now, when we left off, we had built our first few LV machines and started getting into the LV tier. Now, off camera, I did do quite a bit of work, and got a few things built. We're gonna do a crash course on that. I did build the large bronze boiler. I got that going. I actually built quite a few improved coke furnaces. I still have a lot of leftover parts from that. And I've been slowly building infrastructure. Now, some of this stuff would have been in a recording, but due to allergy attacks, gotta love pollen 2020, I had to scrap a couple of those recordings, so I apologize for that. But just to give you a rundown, what we ended up doing is we built all of these improved furnaces and we set up dynamic tanks. Now, there is a bug going on right now with these tanks. I'm going to kind of cover that because I would have actually done this setup a long time ago. But I didn't. And the reason I didn't is because this tank kept emptying, like every server reset. And the reason being is there's a bug apparently with Ender IO conduits and dynamic tanks, to where every time the world resets, it kind of wipes the tank. So that's nice. That was fun. Yes, that was fun. So I had to go through and build a whole bunch of hardened fluid ducts and resonant servos, which required a lot of machines. And I was doing so much machine swapping because I currently only have the 5 things over there providing steam. So I can only power one of these steam turbines, but I have enough steam built up that I can probably start building our additional turbines. Now, initially, we will just have like pipes going down and steam turbines powering machines, but that's not a permanent way of doing things. We're going to do a few other things and try to get that done. Try to make that a little better. We do need to get all the LV steam generator turbine things set up, at least for manual crafting, because we're going to be doing a bit of that. We also want to get a few machines set up for ore processing, at least at the basic level, so that we can just kind of move forward and stuff. So the things I want to see done, I don't know if we'll do it this episode. It's going to be a whole lot of crafting, but we're going to work towards it and just kind of go over some things. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the 2 aqueous accumulators needed to set up our steam turbine or our large boiler, and completely get off of those over there. And we're going to kind of take a look at this setup because I'm currently producing 6,300 Creo every 500 ticks, I think. So I want to see how much fuel we actually need. And when I take a look at how this is used, 16 MB burns in 0.05 seconds. So let's see, that would be times 2, it'd be 0.2 times 10, so 20. Let's see how many what the multiplier is to figure this out. Let's see, 5. Okay. So we want to do a multiple of 20. So 16 times 20 is 320 every second. Divide that by 20. Okay, so it's 16 MB a tick. And if we're producing 6,300 divided by 500, we're producing 12.6 a tick. Yeah, so we're not quite there, the full 1-to-1 fuel production for this. But we have enough to produce quite a bit. And to be honest, this is actually gonna hold it for a while. $16 MB. So if I wanted to be 1-to-1, I need to be making 8,000 a tick. Which would be like 3 more coke furnaces. We could possibly do that, honestly. Very possibly do that. I wonder what the burn rate. It says 3,200 is the burn rate. Now this is default. I wonder how much coal coke would be required to run a thing, because we might be able to get 2 of these furnaces or 2 of these boilers going just from both the coal coke and the other one. That would be an interesting thing to look at. One with Creo, one with coal coke. But moving on, I guess. We could set up another setup right here, and then set up more going across here, and have those feeding into this as well once we get to the point that we can make more of these item conduits, because we need a alloy smelter, and I believe is at least at MV alloy smelter. Yeah, MV. So we get to MV, we'll be able to handle this. So that won't be a problem, because even at 12.6, that's 78%. Which should be roughly 780 steam per tick. 9.4. So, and the large steam boiler produces steam. Does it say how much steam it's producing per tick? Let's see. I thought one of these did. It takes 5 to fully power an LV turbine. An LV turbine takes 64 steam a tick. So yeah, we need just a few more of these to fully 100% power it. But we'll be able to run quite a few machines off of this. Quite a few. And we could probably look at the boiler formulas online to see how long or how much coal coke we need to be producing the power off of coal coke. In fact, I may do that now. Let's pause for a minute and take a look at that. Alright, so I did the math, and it turns out that if we set up 3 more coke ovens, we would have enough Creo for 1-to-1 for boiler, and it will be producing enough coal coke to power a second boiler, giving us 2 boilers powering steam. So that is something we may look into. We may set up a 3 more of these and go through that. But you know, we should actually work on some other things as well, because we got a lot to get done. Now, I know we need to get the two aqueous accumulators done. So let's go ahead and focus on that. Now, we have 2 different recipes. We can do one with pumps and LV machines and structural glass and all of that. Or we can do this one that uses the Everfull urn and Renstone clocks. Now, in the setup back behind there, if you notice, I actually have 2 Everfull urns back here, as well as a bunch of item conduits. And the reason this is worth noting is because, one, we can get back some of the item conduits and use them to set up the other 3 possible improved coke ovens. The other thing is, once we get the boiler up, that's basically self-sufficient. We already have this primed, so it will literally just be building up heat to get into its coastal burn rate, which may be the 16 MB a tick. I'm not quite sure, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, so this should be enough fuel to get it heated. And then we just need to get everything else set up. Get her done. We just need to get it done. So, with that in mind, we're going to need to make several parts. We're going to need to make a bunch of wrought iron, and we're going to need to go and get some pipes, because I do have opaque fluid ducts, and we could just make opaque fluid ducts by putting a lead pipe with the ones that we cleared out for, or lead plate I should say, for the ones we cleared out. I think I put them in miscellaneous actually. Can't believe I've already gone through 40 things. But yeah, let's grab this here and grab a lead ingot. And this will give us at least enough piping to make the 6 opaque ones for the recipe, which we only need 2. Yada yada yada. Alright, let's put you right here. Grab a U. Is that the configurations here? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Throw you there. Throw you right there. A little bit of lag. And blop. Okay. So we now have this. And of course, server maintenance time. We'll be back. Alright, we're back. The server is back up. And we were in the middle of getting fluid ducts converted back to being opaque. So with that, they're opaque again. Now, one thing I will point out is there are 2 recipes for the fluid ducts. You can make the opaque or you can make the clear. But this aqueous accumulator requires the opaque if we're doing this recipe. So next thing we're going to need about 10 wrought ingots. And let's go ahead and get that done. And we're going to kind of clear out our inventory a little bit too, because I need space, man. I need some space. Got to be able to do. Alright, so we got the pipes made, and like I said before, I had to quickly pause and go AFK due to puppy. Fluid ducts, there is another recipe for it. It's just I made this version in order to complete a quest right over here. And we need raw iron, so we need to burn some stuff. Now, where did I put my fire? There we go. I need to go mining, get some more materials. Alright, there is our wrought iron. We're just gonna hop on over here. And get this turned into something a little more useful. I really need to work on all these waypoints. Organize them. I may do that later. Guess I didn't set that up. Alright, cool. So this gives us this which is set up like so. And we'll put 2 pipes there. Now we just need to get the redstone clocks made. Now we could first learn to click things correctly. Alright. Let's first figure out where I put all the covalence dust. Alright, so we got 2 of that. Make our double dust while we're at it. God, can you imagine making elementium? Looking at this reminded me to power the boiler, just having a way of automating that constantly. Talk about a flux factory. So we have this. Now we need 2 of these. 2 sticks, 2 iron. Okay. I am he who organized this and still does not know where I store crap. Okay. And we're just going to make this improved redstone torch. To be honest, I don't know what is so improved about it, other than the fact that, or advanced from redstone things. Other than the fact that it's required, I don't know what's so advanced or improved about it. So we need stone and redstone. Alright. So let's grab 6 more redstone. Six stone. No, wait. 8 stone. IR can count. And blam, there's our 2 clocks. All that is left now is tearing down the steam machines. We are reaching the point of no return. So, we may want to look at a few things. Fluid duct. Now, they don't have the version of fluid duct that gives you infinite fluid transfer. I am noticing this. It is just fluid duct, so it's just going to be whatever the default pump rate is. We are going to want to clear out an area down here. And actually, looking at this, I think what we'll do is we'll build ourselves a little water tank. So we need the pipe to come out here. So there's got to be one right there. And we're going to want one right there. And that's going to be for the first boiler. Now, if you guys know anything about interactions, there is no such thing as infinite water outside of oceans and outside of the rivers. However, there is a case where that's not 100% true. And that case is in the scenario where you have aqueous accumulators. Aqueous accumulators will still generate infinite water. And basically give you the pull that you need to power the steam. So now all we got to do is just get a bunch of water and begin doing stuff. Now I do 8 water source blocks around the aqueous accumulators, and the middle 3 will be shared between the two. Part of the reason I do that is just to ensure it's at the maximum pump rate. It's not so much that it is required. It's just a nice little precaution, because the more source blocks around it, the more water that gets pumped up. So we're going to fill a drum full of water. Let's go ahead and put these excess blocks away. We won't need them where we're going. There we go. Keep you though. And finally, we're going to tear this out. Just real quick. I'm going to put some of this in here to make a little more room. And we're now running off our reservoir. Alright, so we got all that taken away. We will dismantle these real quick. I will take this and reconnect it, because we do want that to continue going. But the rest of these are all free. And we're gonna take these two as well. I'm breaking these again just because I need a walkway. Really need to find a better way of doing this. Okay, and can I just vein mine this? Oh, I can. Sweet. Alright, so all that is out of the way. We have our 2 ever full urns. So let's quickly get the aqueous accumulators going. And we now have that. So now with that, we can begin building the rest of our system. Now I have it set up right there. I'm kind of wondering if maybe I want to do a center approach. Accumulator, accumulator. Actually, given where our fuel is, let's have it come up this side and not this side. Let's use that one for the fuel. Alright, so we're going to set that right there. And just begin filling. It will take a little bit. It might be a little annoying. But as we fill stuff, we'll actually start getting water from the accumulator. And that's it. Accumulator's filling. And we can proceed to do this. And the great thing about the aqueous accumulator is it auto pumps out. So it will automatically output into whatever pipe you have connected. I don't see any flowing. Yet this says we only use 12. Okay, that's legit. That's legit. Did we only use 12? Oh, yeah, we did. Alright, cool. Of course. Nothing ever falls the way we want it to. At some point I gotta dig through this whole thing, but we'll deal with that when we deal with that. For now, let's go up. We got our water source. So now we just need to begin building the other parts. Now we're gonna need a couple Invar ingots. And we're gonna need a couple of those, and we're going to need 2 pumps. And the reason we need these is we're going to be making an advanced servo for Creo going to the boiler. So it's pumping at the maximum rate. So we're going to make these into plates. Do I have redstone? Rubber, empty, redstone, yes, okay. So 2 Invar plates. 2 Electrum plates. And then swapping to the assembler. I don't even think we need a control circuit for this recipe. I believe this recipe is by default a good one. Yeah, that's what I thought. That makes the hardened servo. And that makes our reinforced servo, which gives us 100% extraction rate. Alright, now I think I'm gonna put the plate back up. And actually, the more I think about it, the more I think that I need to actually also get another servo made. Yeah, we're gonna need one for Steam. Because the Steam doesn't auto output. Alright. Let's do that real quick. Let's get those parts together before we even assemble that. We have enough steam that we'll be able to power our machines for a little while. It's part of why I built the system the way I did. So let's get some of this stuff done. Let's finish the entire boiler setup today. Let's just get it all done right here, right now. Come on, open up. Gotta love latency. And I don't need that saw on me, so let's go ahead and put that saw away. We will clean up our artisan tools later. Making sure I don't have any others on me. And I don't need this, so we'll dump that. And poop. Now, servos. I could make one of those and just have 2 servos. That is an option. That is probably the best option looking at what I have here. I only have a little bit of rubber left, so let's go ahead and do that. Because I don't know. Fluid cutting saw. Yeah. That's going to be the best way. Fluid solidifier. I can't wait to get this all set up. Let me tell you, first thing I'm doing is I'm getting all of these things made in such a way that we don't have to keep swapping them. That is so yesterday. So we're just going to let this actually just turn all of our remaining rubber into plates. It may seem like a waste, but it's really not, because we're going to go through so many making conveyors and stuff when we deal with automation, that this really isn't a waste. It's actually a good thing to have so many of those. Let's put the assembler back here. Put our plate here, our solidifier here. Grab these, because I do need those. Was needing circuits. And circuits require wire. Alright, so we got that there. Let's just quickly make a conveyor, which is just a couple of motors, a wire, and 6 rubber plates. Easy peasy. And then bam, instant 2 servos. And since we have this, we might as well upgrade them. And we interrupt this alloying for doggy puppy petting times. You can't see the puppy, but he's here. And he is maximum doggo. Alright, buddy, give me 1 minute. I think later I should get my camera set up so that you guys can actually see Doggo in the corner when he comes up and does this stuff. Alright, he's outside for a second. And we will finish these plates. I forgot I need pumps. Alright. But, you know what? I think we're going to be okay. Because I never claimed these. And that gives us two of the more annoying parts right there. Well, not the paper rings so much, just these rotors. Alright, so we're going to need 4 pumps. Which, honestly, that's enough parts right there for. Yeah, I just need the screws and the cable. Was there no screws in here for that? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. So, I have an iron screw, and I have exactly 4 tin screws. Is that not luck? Right there. Alright, so we need 4 cable. 4 motors, almost out of motors. I've gone through 40 of those. And the pipe. We have 4 of those. And I believe it is screwdriver and wrench. So screwdriver. Dear wrench, where are you? You are up in the corner and not in your toolbox. Alright, there we go. Now we can move forward. So plop this in here, make our other servos. This is actually something I need to automate. I need to automate motors and I need to automate pumps. Probably should automate these fans too, to be honest, but these fans I only use, well, I guess during the automation of the pumps I'll be automating the fans. So that's not going to be an issue. The issue will be automating these because it requires an extruder, which is MV. But these rings are used in all pumps. So that might actually be a goal later. Alright, so we now have our servos, we have our piping, we have our water. We got one thing left to do. And that, my friends, is building the boiler. So we're going to grab all these parts and we're going to start building. Now, unlike the other multi-blocks, this one actually is not going to be hollow. It will have pipe casings in the middle. And they will be there. Alright, so this is the base, just a input hatch for water, in our case a input hatch for liquid fuel. Now you could set up another input bus for items. We're not going to worry about that. Next, we'll have our controller. And two of these. Now, for some reason, in my mind, this was supposed to be a 3x5. Everything else shows it as a 3x2. But for some reason, I can't put my finger on it, but I remember this needing to be 3x5, despite what everything says. And we have enough parts to make it as a 3x5, I believe. I mean, watch me get proven wrong here. But you know what? Let's actually play devil's advocate. Tear out this top layer right here. Tear out this one. And see if it actually forms. It does form. Alright. Maybe we'll be okay. Maybe we'll be alright. So first, we're going to pump in the water. We're going to make sure that pressure is good. So, second thing is we're going to smack ourselves for putting the output on the wrong side. Alright, so output's right there. And the reason I'm using the hardened is I'm not sure if the steam has a temperature, so just as a precaution, we're doing hardened, because the last thing we want is this sucker to be smacking our pipes around, cracking our pipes, leaking our stuff everywhere. It's just not pleasant. It's not fun. We don't want it. And finally, we turn this on, and this will start putting fuel in. Now, temperature is slowly rising. I'm not seeing any fuel in there, but it is filling up, it looks like. Alright, it is keeping pressure. We are maxed out on Creo, and it looks like that is starting to build up. And if I didn't know better, I'd say this was working out. I don't see much issue with the water levels. We do have two aqueous accumulators pushing it in. So we may be good. we may be good to go. I don't see any steam coming in yet. But it is currently only at 87, 88. We finally got steam production. Now, as it's warming up, it has got a higher burn rate. So, I'm actually a little surprised that these are keeping up. Yeah, it's keeping up nicely. This is already filled up on steam. And this is rising in temperature. So I believe we are good to go. So we now have fully automated steam. And enough to actually keep our machines going. This is a big deal. This is good. And I have all these extra parts. Who doesn't like having extra parts? Don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but they're there. Probably use them when we're getting the next thing going. So now that we have the steam, we need to focus on making a whole bunch of LV generators so that we can power all our various machines. Now let's see. For now, I'm going to stick all of these extra parts right here. And these extra machines here. Until I can figure out what I'm going to do with them. And I feel pretty satisfied. We got the boiler running. I know it's a little backwards, but one thing we could quickly go over is how in the world did we make all these? So one thing about the modular machines that most modded people know this, others don't, is that if it has a roof that's all of the same item that the bottom is, you can actually reuse that roof as an additional multi-block. So this multi-block structure counts this as its roof, and this multi-block structure counts it as its floor. And that's how we can set up contraptions like this. The coke oven bricks is the same coke oven bricks used for the initial coke oven. You just burn blocks of clay to make the bricks. And the modular machine stuff isn't that hard. It's a little costly, but it's not hard. It's just red alloy plates and iron gear, which is iron plates and rods. One thing I would recommend, though, is as soon as you can get a fluid solidifier and a fluid extractor, do so, because it makes things like the gears cheap. This here is 6 iron if you have the machines like the lathe and the plate. Otherwise, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 iron for this. Whereas if you have the fluid solidifier, it's only 4 iron for the large gear. So definitely get that done as soon as possible. Get those plates made, get those molds made, get all of those machines made as soon as you can. Anything to save you time on building parts. Now this, you already saw that we had a metric ton of brass and a metric ton of bronze plates. I actually went through almost an entire copper vein making bronze and brass. And how I did that was zinc. And a lot of people think you can't get zinc until you go to the nether. But there is a thing a lot of people don't anticipate and don't think about, and that is byproducts. So when you crush tin ore and you turn it into impure dust, most people just smelt it or they'll wash it. If you centrifuge it, you get zinc. Now, if you do the other route where you make the industrial centrifuge, you still get your zinc right here. After you purify it, and if you purify it, you get iron, a little bit of stone, but you still get your zinc. Tin gives you zinc. That is a big deal, because that allows you to make all of the brass you need without needing to do alchemy, which is why in the first LV machines video I did, the previous episode, the centrifuge was the third machine I made. I made the plate, the metal bender for plates, I made the lathe for rods and for screws, and I made the centrifuge as the third machine, solely because of making these multi-blocks and making the boiler. It is probably the most important part of the setup that you'll go through, is those first 3. The wire maker was the 4th one I did. Actually, no, wire maker was the 3rd one. Centrifuge is the 4th one. But still, those first 4 machines are the most important. You'll get into things like the assembler and such after that. The fluid extractor, fluid solidifier, those are important machines. But getting your first 4, being the wire maker, the plate, the lathe, and the centrifuge, is what you need to really start building the various parts and getting off the ground. Because once you have those, you can move forward with pretty much all of your other setups. Now, looking at this, I need to make a lot of these. I don't have a lot of stuff for that. I can get at least 5 made, I think. Do I have any more MV things in here? Doesn't look like it. Yeah. So I need to get iron to move forward. It's going to take quite a bit. I can at least get... Just making sure I don't have any stash somewhere else. And it doesn't look like I do. Okay. So... we need to get more LV casing, so I'm going to need iron to make steel. I'll at least get 5 of these made, that way we can start powering at least 5 machines. That'll be better than nothing. And how many blades are per 2? So you gotta make some more blades, more rotors. Gotta make some more circuits too. So we may only be able to do 4 because we need the circuits. Unless, oh, nope, I prepared for that already. Did I prepare paper for the thing? Oh, well, how about that? Hachi actually prepared stuff for once. Don't tell anyone. They will never believe you. Do I have any more of this? Yes. I mean, we already got the thing here. Might as well finish making it all, right? Alright. So... throw those right there. And... I never have enough resin. I really should actually look into automating that. Maybe that's what I'll do, is I'll make another tree farm. And we'll have ourselves another tutorial on tree farms. Alright. So let's put the circuits here. Fans go there. I have 5 motors. So I'll be able to do the first 2, which is fine, because as we build things, we can get more and more machines going. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. Bouncy, bouncy. I really need a better way to traverse the base, or something to centralize things. So let's pull this away. We do not want chests. There we go. And there is that. Cable. And there's 5 LV holes. Alright. We are making progress. Take 10 of these pipe. Is it small pipe or is it medium pipe? It is indeed medium pipe. Good. So we got the medium pipe. We got all of that. I believe the last thing we need is tin wire. So there's our first 2 steam turbines outside of the initial ones we made. So we can start automating things. You know what? I should actually set up some chests for these. Yeah. Check our food situation. We are out of everything. So... where did I put all those chests? I think I put them over here because I was going to use them for some other things. And I don't have enough rubber. But doesn't one of these quests give me rubber? Plop. Alright, so maybe we can liquefy the rubber. Send it in to make rubber plates. Oh, we don't have any motors now. We need wire. Alright. Put the wire in here. Put the rubber right there. I guess we could make rubber plates the old-fashioned way. But actually, no. We don't have to do that. And the reason being is we can only put in the amount that we want to work with and save the rest. I mean, we still need motors, but we don't necessarily have to do things in an explicit way. Just to get stuff done. We can do it however we want. Yes. So let's see. Now I have this using a conduit. I think I'm going to be switching to doing item pipes. Simply because alright, so that will power those 2. Extractor, solidifier, and plate. I think what I'm actually going to be putting here, though, is I'm going to have the wire mill here. And I think the lathe is going to be the other one. So wire mill. And then right here we'll just quickly extract seven of these. And swap that out for the plates. Make the plates real quick. I didn't think of that. You know, maybe we should do something else other than these chests. Because we have all those bronze plates. So let's put those to use. Make a couple of bronze chests, shall we? And that will at least set up. Oh yeah, see, that's gonna work out. That's gonna work out beautifully. Let's put all of these in here for now, because we don't need them right this instant. Plop you, and turn that on. Plop you, and we will turn you on. Plop you, and turn you on. So now all the output is on that side. And let's see, conveyor. Eight items a second as cover. What's the difference between that and the robot arm? At specified rates, okay. So one is insert everything, one is only do this. Alright, gotcha. I am cool with that. Alright, so we got these rods here. Now, I'm gonna need at least one motor. Actually, you know what? Let's make two conveyors. Let's make two. We have God knows how much copper wire, so that's not going to be a problem. I do have the bare minimal of the tin wire right now. I do need to make a bunch of that. Maybe that's what I'll do with the rest of this, once we get the next machine going. Which... two of these... I may want to do that sooner than later. Yes. Because that will mean less setup. So let's do that now. I mean, I know I just went through all of the stuff to get this in place. I think we need this right now. So let's get that going. Let's throw this in here. Throw that right there. Export to the left there. Now looking at this rubber, so it's basically rubber, pulp, and sulfur. Where do you get resin from? Thermal foundation resin. Doesn't say how you get that. I wonder if tree tap is a thing. Or actually thermal. What machines do they have active here? They have that. But otherwise, not a lot. I don't see any of the machines. Like they have this for the fractioning still, but I don't even see a boreal extractor. Extracts fluids from a tree. I wonder if that's how we get resin. Let's find out. Okay, so according to what I'm reading, the boreal extractor does get resin or sap. Well, mushrooms too, if you do it on the mushroom. Alright. Sap. What would you use that for? Glue and rosin. Rosin, are you used for anything? I think this is used as a slime substitute. Yeah, any slime. Alright. So sap is just a way for infinite glue and slime. That is good to know. Because you can make it with chemicals, but you can also centrifuge it from sticky resin. Which is something we may be doing anyway. Because I may be setting up a tree farm for this. Still, the rubber, the resin from the rubber. That is like so dark I can't see. There we go. This has promise though. Because just one of those extractors does 100 MB every cycle. And this could be a way of producing a massive amount of resin. For rubber. Alright, so we have a possible option there. We should definitely look into that later. Not right now. I spent too much of this episode already looking into that. This episode has already been way too long. So we will try to wrap this up as quickly as possible. You are still doing well, I see. Fuel is holding up. Water is holding up. Steam is obviously holding up. Go ahead and put the lathe back. I think this is only going to make like 25 or so wire, which is fine. It'll be enough to get a couple more of these machines done. I think what I'm going to do next is the chemical reactor and the assembly machine. Getting those two up and running. Because with those two, I'll be able to make more stuff. I also need to get the centrifuge going. That's right. so that we can make sulfur. At least until we get sulfur ore, we can get it from like lead, various other metals. Alright, so that is that. And I was right, it's 25. So we will get rid of this, we'll put our wire mill back up. Make sure both of these are pointing at the right one. Okay. And bam, those two are set up again. Did all that stuff, I forgot to make the iron rods. Alright, there's our iron rods. Which we did not make enough of. But that is okay. We will at least get one of these done. And we'll go ahead and set up one of these real quick, just to kind of show how the conveyors work. Now, these machines always have one default output, and you can set it to either fluid or, depending on the machine, fluid or item. I typically will do item for my output, and then I'll set up a pump or something else for the fluid. But what you can do is you can add robot arms, you can add conveyors, you can add pumps, and create a different additional outputs. And I think I need my screwdriver to be able to alter this. There we go. So yeah, you need tools to be able to interact with them once you place them. Now, is it right click? Yeah, okay. So this tells you how many items per second you can reduce or expand. The LV has a max of 8 items per second. You can create an item filter, so you can make it to where it can only pull in certain ones. Now I just switched the mode to import, so it's going to pull items in. And when I do that, I plop this in here, bam, it's already in here. Just like that. And that is a very, very simple way of doing this without having a whole bunch of these. Keeps things nice and clean. But yeah, the purpose of these extra parts is solely for things like this. You use them for crafting, but you also use them for this because you're not always going to have conduits. In fact, most of the time you're not, especially until mid-game. Mostly because of the fact that it requires it requires an MV alloy smelter to even be able to make those conduits. So that automates both the wire mill and the lathe. And we have this going. So we have all the base things, wire mill, lathe, plates. We can make everything. So I'm gonna hop off for now. And we will continue building this out, at least until the first few machines are done, ready to go. And we have a rubber production going on. And I think I'll do a couple more short tutorial videos when I do the rubber production. I'll show how to set up a tree farm, build the various parts for that. And I think next episode we'll get into some of the more nuanced things like wireless fluid transmission, so we can make this steam go everywhere throughout our base. And in order to do that, we need to get the astral sorcery stuff built and going. So we'll do that next episode and focus on astral sorcery, and we'll focus on some Thaumcraft and just get that setup done so that we can set this up pretty much wherever we want it instead of just right here. And kind of centralize a little bit. I think I want the machines over there in the storage area for right now. But we'll get that done, get that set up, and go over there. So we'll end it here, and we'll come back later and pick up with Astral Sorcery and finishing Thaumcraft by making Liquid Death. Have a good day.